Hey crafty friends, Einat Kessler here with Saturday Extravaganza, and today I want to create an art journal with watercolors. Some people are kind of intimidated by watercolors because it's kind of hard to control. Sometimes you don't know where it's going, but I'm just going to show you how easy and fun it is. So I have gessoed my art journal page and now it's dry, and I have here my water spritzer, my very small kit of watercolors, and my water brush. Now this is a really cool thing. It has a container that you fill with water, and then the water goes through to the brush at the edge. And this is very easy. You can control how much water you want to use, and instead of you can always use a regular plain brush and dip it in the water, but I really like to use this one. It's really easy and makes watercoloring even more fun. So let's get started. I have watered my brush. You just press on the container and the water just pours out. And I'm just picking up some blue watercolor with my brush, and you can see how watery it is. You can control the shade of your color either by blending it with white or black if you want it darker or lighter, or by adding water. Now sometimes you don't want it to be too watery, so the best way is to just add white or black for the shades of the color. So I'm just applying my blue color here and there, very freehand, with no particular pattern or order. And as you can see, the watercolor is spreading on the paper with a very light tone. Now once you want to change the color, I recommend to have a cloth or a towel, and you simply just wipe off the color on that piece of cloth or towel. You can push the little container to release some more water, and then it will wash away the paint, and then you're ready to use another paint. So I'm using yellow, a little bit of yellow diluted with some water, and you can see on the areas where it meets the blue color we get a little bit of green, because of course yellow and blue creates green color, and that depends how much you want to blend color and create new shades. And by the way, even if you dry the color, once you come back to it with some more water, it starts all over again. You can't really create layers of color here because they keep blending. Even if they're dry, when you come back with the wet brush, you wake them up again and then they blend again. But this is what is fun about watercolor. So I'm just adding more and more color on my page, and you can see how very gentle and very light this is. I like watercolors because it gives you the feeling and the atmosphere of something very light, almost flying like a fairy, something very fluffy, and I really like that romantic feeling that it creates. So I've dried everything, and I'm going to stamp my page with distress ink, which is water soluble, because I want to show you a really cool technique with water here. So I'm just stamping the page here and there. And you saw me before spritzing the page a little bit. You can do that and wet the page even more if you want the colors to run more, and to do that without using a brush. So there are my stamps. I'm taking my water brush, I've cleaned it on my cloth, and I'm just applying water with no paint. And since distress ink is water soluble, it smears it and gives it that watercolor effect. And I'm just doing that on part of the stamp because I want the stamp to show, but I want it to be smudged like so. So I'm just going over some lines of the stamp with my water brush. Now the fun thing and the really good thing about the water brush is that the tip is very small, so you have a lot of control of where you want to go and what you want to dilute or paint or use the water brush. So I'm taking a little bit of gesso after everything is dry. Of course, I'm taking a little bit of gesso with my fingers, just adding some gesso, and that makes the stamps even more muted and in the background, sort of fading to the background. That's the look I want to have. And I'm also going over a little bit of the colors with the gesso, with white gesso. So that's basically like doing it with a white paint. But the good thing about the gesso is that it seals those areas. So if you apply watercolor and then add gesso on it, it will seal the watercolor and you can add more color on it. So I have a stencil here, and again I'm going to use distress ink to create my pattern, because I want to do the same thing that I did with the stamp and go over it with my water brush and just smear it a little bit and create another watercolor effect. This time I'm going to spritz, and sometimes spritzing is again you don't know where the water will go, and that's unexpected and surprising, but that's the fun. You can play around and see where it goes. Now what I want to show you is you can see the lines here. This is where the water stopped, so the paint stopped there too, and there was a little pool created, and once it's dry it gives you these amazing lines, and you never know where on your page it's going to be. So that's kind of fun, at least for me, to play around with it and be surprised. So I'm going to use some letters, and I'm just going to use the entire stamp page. These are small letters, they're individual, you can create words with them, but I'm just going to use them as they are, as an entire letter stamp. Just stamp a little bit here and there, again with the distress ink. We're only using water soluble materials today on our page, and going over them a little bit with my water brush here and there, keeping some letters completely visible and some smudging with my water brush. So you see the effect that you get with using water and watercolor. I really love that, and it's fun to try. Don't be scared, just play. So dry everything again with your heat tool, and another layer of gesso on some of the letters. Again, you can control the amount of gesso that you're adding. So if you want it to be completely opaque or semi-transparent, it all depends on how much gesso you put. The more you put, the more opaque it will be, and then you'll see just white and nothing under it. So again, you have a lot of control here, and you can do it as you like. And I want to add some more blue, so I'm going back with my brush, with my water brush, adding a little bit of white as well, adding a little bit more blue where mainly where the gesso is, and where I can add more blue without it being green or mud, because once you start mixing too many colors you get mud. So you have to really pay attention that you don't mix too many colors, otherwise again you get mud. So I'm just adding more blue here and there, and a little bit more yellow, which I'm adding a little bit of white too, so it will be less brighter shade of yellow. Just adding here and there where I feel I want to have more yellow. And it's mainly on the white parts of the gesso. Drawing everything. Now I have here a butterfly. It's a piece of tissue paper by Tim Holtz. I've cut the butterfly and I'm just tearing the paper around it because I just want to use the butterfly. So a little bit of tearing. I don't want it to have straight lines. That's why I'm tearing the excess paper around it. And I'm going to glue it down to my page with some gel medium. It's best to use gel medium with a brush, and this is good to use for this project because if you use just a regular tacky glue or some other kind of adhesive, it will be almost impossible to go over it or to add paint or anything, ink on it, because that glue will not take it. You cannot do that on glue. So gel medium is a medium that allows you to incorporate other materials on it and to use it with almost anything, any kind of paint or acrylic material, glazes, whatever. So if you want to add more stuff on your more mediums and colors on your page, then use gel medium. It will be great. You need to dry it, of course, completely. And I'm going to add 2 pieces of just scrap paper that I have, which are a little bit more colorful, especially with some pink and other colors. And I'm using again gel medium here because I need to add more things on top of it later. And gel medium will allow that. So I'm going to add another piece, just scrap paper that I found in my stash, and that will add more color and texture to the page. And since I want the paper to be protected and I want to add more stuff on it, I'm also applying the gel medium not only under the paper but on top of the paper to seal it. Now I'm adding some gesso. Again, I don't want the colors to be too bold and too bright, so the gesso is a really good way to mute them and tone them down a little bit. And the gesso also gives me the opportunity to merge, so to speak, merge the paper that I've just added, the scrap paper, with the page. It will not seem like something I glued on the page, but something that is almost painted on the page, like it's a part of the page. So again, once the gesso is dry, I'm adding some more watercolor to blend, to help me merge the paper into the art journal page, like it's all part of one creation and not pieces glued down. And at this point you can add whatever colors that you want, as much as you want. You can keep on playing with that for as long as you want. And again, I want to stress, just play with watercolors and don't be scared. Just, try and see what happens, if you like it or if you don't like it. The first time I tried it was really weird. I didn't even know how to control the brush and the water, and so if you are too scared to do this on the art journal on your first time, just do it on scrap paper and practice. and see if you prefer to work with a regular brush or with a water brush. Now I'm just spritzing with the brush, loading it with a lot of paint and water, just creating little drops. And once the brush is loaded with color, I can press on the water container and then get bigger drops of water, which is really cool too. So you can control how many drops you want, where you want them, and the size you want them. So again, you can see how cool it is to, and fun and easy it is to work with a water brush. So now I have my blue little dots, just wiping it, and I think I'm going to add a few yellow ones. They need to be really watery so they'll fall off the brush, and then you get the little droplets. And again, bigger ones. And you see that I've not even covered the entire page because I wanted that look of all of this creation blending into the white background. So I didn't even want to work on the entire surface of the art journal page, just in the center, and all the edges I left white. I'm adding another layer of gesso here. To mute some areas, to tone the color down a little bit. To add a little bit more white to some areas. And again, that will seal some of the parts that I'm using it for. A little bit more. You can also add, for example, modeling paste and create even more texture. But gesso is enough for me. But you can try doing it with modeling paste or with acrylic paint, with white acrylic paint. I have to dry this first. And then again, add another layer of color, and I just want to add a little bit of pink and red, just a little tiny bit, like an accent. And as you can see, if you want to use watercolors, you don't need to buy those huge set of colors that are in the stores, you know, the expensive ones. Just try with a small one like mine. You can always create new colors by blending. Just make sure you have all the basic colors and white and black, and you're all set. You don't really need the fancy kind, unless you want to, you know, work professionally and create watercolor art and all that. But if you just want to play and use it every now and again, mine is completely sufficient. The one that I'm using, the size and it's really good. It's by Sakura, by the way, if you were wondering. So I'm just adding a little bit of red and pink to break that blue and yellow. And once that's dry, I'm just going to add 1 or 2 spritz of mist, of glimmer mist, just to close the entire thing. Just gonna add a few droplets first, and then I think I'm just going to mist once or maybe twice on the paper. I don't know. I'll see. Dry everything first, of course. Still not dry enough. It's very important to dry the layers, otherwise everything will start running and you get mud. So I've spritzed it a little bit. It was very hard to see because I only did it once. But you can see all the little tiny dots around it. That's from the spritz, from the glimmer mist. So I'm taking a black pen and writing my quote, which is, I'm going to jump and grow wings on my way down. I really like that quote. Almost like taking a leap of faith. Of course, you can leave the page with no quote at all, or write a different quote, or just journal from your heart. And that is basically our page. I really encourage you to try watercolors. It's really fun. And I hope you were inspired and you like this project. Make sure to hit that subscribe button to watch some more inspiring videos, and visit my website annatkessler.com. You'll find a lot of inspiration there and some really cool workshops and classes on mixed media that you can join. Thank you very much for joining me. Have a great week, and I'll see you all next time.